are not given the importance it deserves. We must reduce our dependence on imported fuel and food. That is why our government will accelerate investment in renewable energy, which will provide more stable and affordable electricity for our people. We will also expand support for local agriculture so that more of what we consume is grown right here in Dominica. This is not only a response to the crisis, this is strengthening commitment and strategy implementation in a successful manner and on a path to greater national resilience and self-reliance. I understand the anxiety that rising prices can bring. I understand the pressure that families may feel in the weeks ahead. But, but I ask you to remain calm, to remain united, and to remain confident in our ability to weather the economic fallout from the escalating conflict in the Middle East.
So Dominicans, brace yourself, huh? There will be economic fallouts. Our next stop, our first stop this morning, DND. Hello, talk to me. Good morning.
Good, I'm glad I'm not a stop with Matt.
Good morning.
Matt, our Prime Minister said something that caught my attention.
What was
I want
that?
to remind the Prime Minister of his $60,000 a month, that we pay to accommodate him in his residence. He promised to move out of there. Has he moved out of there yet, Matt?
No, not that I know.
We should remind him that now is a good time that he could move out of there and cost us less. He's not a king. I want to remind him he's not a king. And, he can do better. We can drop.
So you're saying he should cut his expenses, yeah?
Yes. And by setting the example, you see, politicians should set the example for the others. You cannot just tell us to tighten our belt and you loosening yours. He has to set the example. Enough said, Matt. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. On the telephone, are you there? Yes. 841.
Matt, I just want to tell him, morning, Matt. I just want to tell Roosevelt Carrot, I hope it's all what he said there is not a mistake quick. Thank you.
All right. Now another mistake quick. Things are going to get tougher, huh? Gas prices going to go up. Food items will go up. So it's not a mistake quick. We just have to tighten our waist, huh? Things will get worse. Hello, talk. How long though? How long the war in the Middle East will last? Still predictions. Hello, talk to me. Good morning. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Why he's talking to making sense or not making sense?
No, I don't find that, but from the West side, like I get it going. And the first caller, he take it from my house. Take it easy, man.
All right, take care. On the telephone, so PM, they're telling you, set the example. That's what the callers, I let two of them saying this morning. Hello, talk to me, yeah?
Matt, I'm not saying things will not get tough because of the war, I'm just saying what he said he's going to do is not a mistake quick. Thank you.
I think they're going to go back to Parliament sometime early April to put these laws in place to make sure that the basic items remain low for those who can't afford, huh? Somebody suggested maybe they should cut down on their profit margins as it relates to the gas. So, Good morning, Matt. So long in DA, we have our hardships. He never tried to save us. Now he wants to tell us about saving our souls. It's too late for talk. He has all the money. Now he wants to talk. The Lord that have us, in his hands. Not you, not you. Somebody says there. But We must, I mean, we must agree though that we have to tighten our waist, huh? Cut down. You might have to go down to cooking on coals, huh? But we'll continue the conversation a little after 9 this morning. I will stop coming up with our friends there from DND. Stick around. Coming back.
Everything. This is March Mayhem. For 2 days only, we're dropping a massive 40% off store-wide. This is March 26th and Friday, March 27th. But you've only got 2 hours each day, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's right, just 2 hours to save big on everything. Furniture, appliances, electronics. Grab it before it's gone. Don't miss the madness. March Mayhem, March Mayhem, March Mayhem. March Mayhem sale, March 25th and the 27th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 40% off store-wide. Terms and conditions apply. Quartz, bringing value home.
March with Digicel. Sign up for a new bundle with postpaid or add postpaid for your Digicel plan. Only $60 and get double data, saving an exclusive discount off handsets. And a shot at winning $1,000 shopping spree. Yes, $1,000 shopping spree. Digicel. So if you decide visit a digital store or speak to an agent now. Digicel. Real connections, real way, real abundance. Terms and conditions apply.
As I said, our next stop with D&D. Usual stop on a Thursday morning. Stick around.
This lady asked me, sorry sir, where's DND Plumbing and Electricals now everybody talking about? I said, ma'am, DND is located on 2nd Federation Drive, Goodwill, above Nagico. It's that green and orange building. DND, we also do services and sales, general plumbing such as PVC pipes and fittings, kitchen faucets, bathroom faucets, shower valves, and all the other functional parts needed for your loo or toilet. At DND Plumbing, we have in stock inline ball valves, check valves, and all the other parts that are necessary for a job well done. And now for the big one, baby, don't forget your drain busters to unplug your waste pipes. People don't have to know your business. DND also got your pressure reducing valve to reduce water intake, thus reducing your plumbing expenses. The reason why customers just keep coming to DND is because of the great customer service, exceptional product knowledge, and hard to find plumbing items and tidbits. DND on Lower Federation Drive, the full comprehensive plumbing services, repairs, maintenance, and installations. Just watch out for the green and orange. This lady asked me, sorry sir, where's DND Plumbing and Electricals now everybody talking about? I said, ma'am, DND is located on 2nd Federation Drive, Goodwill, above Nagico. It's that green and orange building. DND, we also do services and sales, general plumbing such as PVC pipes and fittings, kitchen faucets, bathroom faucets, shower valves, and all the other functional parts needed for your loo or toilet. At DND Plumbing, we have in stock inline ball valves, check valves, and all the other parts that are necessary for a job well done. And now for the big one, baby, don't forget your drain busters to unplug your waste pipes. People don't have to know your business. DND also got your pressure reducing valve to reduce water intake, thus reducing your plumbing expenses. The reason why customers just keep coming to DND is because of the great customer service, exceptional product knowledge, and hard to find plumbing items and tidbits. DND on Lower Federation Drive, the full comprehensive plumbing services, repairs, maintenance, and installations. Just watch out for the green and orange.
All right, let's say good morning to sir. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing okay, Matt. I'm doing fine. It's just an awesome thing to be alive this morning, and to be able to do what you normally do on a daily basis. And one of them this morning is to really be with you and your customers this morning, wide and far, all the way overseas, Europe, wherever they are listening to Q95. We are just so happy and thrilled to be on there so that they could hear what is happening at DND every Thursday at this time. Matt, it's really a pleasure, being, one of the person in Dominica to serve the public, and to serve the customers that come at DND. It's just a pleasure each day, myself and the customers, to help them go the extra mile, to really make them satisfied, to make them, as they live here, smiling or being satisfied, as we serve them. You that are listening to this program, this is Q95, but this is the program from DND Plumbing and Electrical Inc. And we are located on number 2 Federation Drive, Goodwill. As you're going up to the hospital above Nadico, you cannot miss my there. If you're going up that way and you're not seeing DND, if you have glasses, you need another thicker one, or you need double glasses, because we are branded, and we're looking forward to put more awareness around around where we are located, so that you can know, yes, this is DND. And we are just so happy to have you listening. And we want to tell you our numbers are 449-0542, or you can reach us on our cell numbers at 285-9643. This number, you can WhatsApp us on that number as well, 285-9643. And we have 616-7505. You can also email us at ddplumbinge@gmail.com, or you can like us or visit us on our Facebook page at DND Plumbing and Electrical Inc. And we just want to tell you this morning, that we are just happy to have you as you listen. And this morning, we also want to remind you of our program, our promotion, rather, for the month of March, as we look forward to the Easter season. We have our Easter program, which started, sometime last week, and it's been running. I mean, customers are coming in, and some of them are getting close, and it's just a fun time, to hear some of the answers that are being given. And it's just simple answers, not answers, questions. I mean, you go around the shelves and you purchase, and you may just luckily get that little paper looking like an egg with a question on it. And all you have to do is just answer it, and you get an additional 5% upon what we're already giving you, which is on a Friday. So we want to tell you to come down to DND so you can get your products, you can get your services, you can get whatever you are looking for, you can get it. And at DND, we have so many items here, especially in the plumbing area. That's what we are known for. A lot of people, and we are going to be looking forward, and well, you in particular, as you come at DND, to get all your supplies at DND. You don't have to look to the right, to the left. You don't have to go to Timbuktu. You can come at DND and you can get all your plumbing and supplies. So we are growing business, and we are looking forward to continue having you and to continue serving you to the best of our ability to grow this business, so that when you come here, you don't have to do it. You don't have to places where you didn't want to. And some of you, sometimes you're walking, or maybe you park somewhere and you just choose to come here and get this supply, and next thing you're disappointed you don't get it. We want to reach to that point where you don't have to go to anywhere else, okay? So we want to tell you our promotion, which started sometime 2 weeks ago. It continues. We have 2 more Fridays, which is the 27th, and well, not 2 Fridays, 1 more Fridays, which is the 27th, which is tomorrow. So you have an opportunity to come to DND where you can experience 12.5% or 15% on your purchase. Plus, if you win, you get that egg with that question, and you answer the question correctly, you get an additional 5%. So we're telling you to come down to DND where we can make your dollar stretch, where you can get more for your buck. So we want to tell you, coming tomorrow as we continue. So exciting promotion, as Easter season is coming, and we kind of attach or look forward to, when we are Easter, we think of egg, and, so we have that so exciting promotion every Friday except on the 4th of April, because the Fridays are holidays. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you on the 4th of April, which is a Saturday. So you can come on that Saturday where you can experience the sale. You can get that 12.5% or the 15% off store-wide. And we also have on selective items, all like 50%, some items we really want to get out of the store that are just slow moving. We just want you to come and experience such a larger discount on those selective items. So we want to tell you to come down to D&D. And you know D&D, when you come down there, the kind of service you get it nowhere else. The customer service, the staff, well-trained staff with great product knowledge and good customer service. I'm telling you, when you come down here, you have to experience that great, experience, as you shop at D&D. So we want to just remind you that you are listening to the program D&D Plumbing and Electrical Inc. And we are located on number 2 Federation Drive, Goodwill. As you're coming up to the hospital, going up that little hill, Federation Drive, on your right-hand side, that building, stone look building with green and orange, has a big logo, D&D. You cannot miss that. We are telling you, this is our location. This is the place you have to come. And when you come, we do sales and services. If you need any service done at your home, maybe your tap leaking, your pipe broken, and maybe you cannot reach your plumber, or you don't have a plumber, we're telling you, you can get that at D&D as well. We come at your home and we do, whatever needs to be done, and we try our best to get it right the first time. And our motto is a reliable and efficient service where quality costs less. We try to do it to the best of our ability, and we also give it to you at a reasonable price. So don't have the notion that, it's a company, it might be, they're charging expensive. No, don't have that idea, that thinking in your head. We are reliable and we give quality service, and the cost, we give you a reasonable cost. So we want to tell you to come down to D&D, where you can get your drain buster, where you can get all the parts for your toilet, where you can, even as we speak, we have all our new arrival displayed, so you can come down and see what's new. We have that new product that I explained a couple of weeks ago before it was here. We promote it, let it known to the public it was coming soon. So we have it on hand right now. It's a liquid that you could pour in the drain, and that liquid does not evaporate. So the gas smell will not come back to the surface. So you have that sewer smell in the atmosphere, in the realm, in the space that you occupy. That can be avoided. We have the liquid you can pour in there, so that normally you would pour maybe DC clean and that would evaporate. There's water you could pour, that will evaporate. But we have that liquid that does not evaporate, that will stay in the drain and avoid the smell, the sewer smell, that toilet, that sewer smell. Sewer toilet smell, it's not good. It's not welcoming. So we want to avoid that in your space, in your washroom, wherever, maybe in that office or in that commercial building where you go to the washroom and they have flood drain in case any flood. But now and then, every time you go in the washroom, you're getting that smell, that toilet smell, that sewer smell, that pipe smell. You want to avoid that. So we're telling you that we have that product you can pour in there. And those of you who doing commercial plumbing, maybe a lot of piping, especially gas stations, we have the thread seal, the compound that you can put on the thread. You don't have to use the thread seal tape, because some areas when you're doing plumbing, there's certain requirements. You don't have to use they don't want you to use the thread tape. They want you to use the compound. So we have that available in a tube and in a can for application, whichever one you want to choose. We have that available, and so much more new arrival that we have. So we want you to come down to D&D and experience our service, experience our product, a great price. We want to tell you to come down to D&D, where your dollar can stretch. And also we want to tell you, as we end our program this morning, that we are going to also remind you of our drain buster. And it is so important for you, as I often tell you, to do your self-maintenance. it will save you a buck or two. Yes, you may think hot water will work. It can work depending if you have a new application, you have a new building, and you're using hot water constantly. That can help. But as you continue to use your line, your waistline, the grease accumulates on the wall, on the inside wall of the pipe every time you use your sink, your kitchen sink, or you bathe. You have that ball grease, you have the grease from the plate, so it accumulates on the inside of the pipe, and this cannot be removed according to what is already there with hot water. So you need something more powerful. So we want to tell you we have Drain Buster, which is a very good product, and we've been getting a lot of good feedbacks on it. And that's why I keep bringing it in, and people are coming in, and it is moving. So I'm telling you, if you haven't gotten yours, you haven't really used it yet, I want to encourage you to do your self-maintenance. You could buy a bottle, and depending on your application, if it's an old application, I would advise you to use the whole bottle so that you could get as much as much grease out as possible, so that you can have a better experience as you continue using your fixtures, as you continue using your shower. So we want to at DND encourage you to have a bottle and always do your maintenance. Matt, this morning we truly want to thank everyone who is listening and continuing to listen, whether it's right here in Dominica or overseas. We want to tell you we appreciate having you listening to our program, and we look forward to continue to share with you as we give tips, as we give knowledge in the plumbing sector. We just want to tell you thank you for listening. And Matt, we want to tell everyone have a great day, have a wonderful day. And remember, tomorrow you can get 12% or 15% of store-wide at DND. And if you get that paper and answer the question, you can get an additional 5%. So we want to tell Matt, thank you so much for you and your team down at Q95. And we want to tell you have a blessed day, have a productive day. You and your listeners, thank you so much again. And my team, I just want to tell them thank you so much as well.
Thank you. Have a blessed day too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This lady asked me, sorry, sir, where's DND Plumbing and Electricals now everybody talking about? I said, ma'am, DND is located on 2nd Federation Drive, Goodwill, above Nagico. It's that green and orange building. DND, we also do services and sales, general plumbing such as PVC pipes and fittings, kitchen faucets, bathroom faucets, shower valve, and all the other functional parts needed for your loo or toilet. At DND Plumbing, we have in stock inline ball valves, check valves, and all the other parts that are necessary for a job well done. And now for the big one, baby, don't forget your drain busters to unplug your waste pipes. People don't have to know your business. DND also got your pressure reducing valve to reduce water intake, thus reducing your plumbing expenses. The reason why customers just keep coming to DND is because of the great customer service, exceptional product knowledge, and hard to find plumbing items and tidbits. DND on Lower Federation Drive, the full comprehensive plumbing services, repairs, maintenance, and installations. Just watch out for the green and orange building.
All right, Dominica, we don't have too much time, but we'll continue the discussion we had just before the break. Prime Minister calling on Dominicans, nationals to, of course, tighten their waist. Tough times ahead as it relates to the crisis in the Middle East. Let's listen to the Prime Minister.
Over the coming days and weeks, we'll implement a series of targeted measures designed to cushion the impact on households and businesses. First, we will introduce targeted relief measures to help manage the rising cost of living. This will include temporary reductions on duties and taxes on essential goods and increased support for vulnerable households through our social protection programs. Second, we are taking steps to manage energy costs. We will work closely with the Dominica Electricity Services to moderate the impact of rising fuel prices on electricity tariffs. And of course, geothermal is coming just at the opportune time. Third, we will protect jobs and economic activity. We will engage with stakeholders in tourism, agriculture, and the private sector to ensure continuity and resilience during this period. Fourth, we are strengthening our fiscal management, carefully prioritizing government spending to ensure critical services are maintained while some discretionary expenditures are deferred. And so we continue to monitor, and as you can see, we have been already working towards taking action to mitigate against the impact. Citizens, this moment also reminds us of a collective responsibility that we have not given the importance it deserves. We must reduce our dependence on imported fuel and food. That is why our government will accelerate investment in renewable energy, which will provide more stable and affordable electricity for our people. We will also expand support for local agriculture so that more of what we consume is grown right here in Dominica. This is not only a response to the crisis, this is strengthening commitment and strategy implementation in a successful manner and on a path to greater national resilience and self-reliance. I understand the anxiety that rising prices can bring. I understand the pressure that families may feel in the weeks ahead. But I ask you to remain calm, to remain united, and to remain confident in our ability to weather the economic fallout from the escalating conflict.
Stop everything!
We're here and on the telephone with me because I underline a particular aspect of the Prime Minister's voice there. He spoke about the fact that we're getting geothermal. The prices of electricity may affect that, meaning it will just be on another level if you wish. But I have somebody on the line who's always challenged that thought or concept, Mr. Arthur Martin, in terms of will geothermal make our bills lower? Arthur Martin, good morning to you. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning, Matt. How are you doing?
Good morning to you. Hanging in there 1 second at a time.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mata, you have listened and we've been told to tighten our waist, but geothermal might help to a certain extent.
Matt, I'm hearing a peculiar sense of collapse in the Prime Minister's voice. He's trying desperately at the last minute, after the horse has bolted, to send some positive or encouraging signals, and I empathize. But the harsh reality is, Matt, one of the first things that any serious initiative at addressing these challenging times would have to include with an opening up of consultation and engagement with persons across the political and economic and professional spectrum. Involve people across those spectra, regardless of the political views, and based exclusively on their professional and demonstrated capacities and interest in and training in the fields of concern. He mentions agriculture. Open up constitute a commission that allows people who have knowledge about agriculture to lend their knowledge to the country. Housing, the same thing. You have architects, you have builders, but because some of them are politically not in the same boat as the Prime Minister, he denies the country the benefit of its thinking and knowledge of those people. You hear about power and energy. You know, it's the same thing. Where are the other persons who have knowledge about renewable energy, who understand that the country does have a renewable energy plan, an approved plan that says we should have, since 2012, been developing not just geothermal, but renewable in the sense to include hydro expansion, solar, and wind, which would have left us in a much better situation and not scrambling to try to figure out how the high and rising cost of fuel is going to impact the cost of electricity. You may have heard that St. Kitts has just invested in a significant solar energy option, which will address
50,
very directly
50,
and quickly
you're right
the
about
cost
that.
of electricity.
You're right. 50
You
megawatts.
probably also heard that very, very recently, in the last couple of weeks, the government of China, as part of its aid to Cuba, you know what they brought in, Matt? Instead of sending in 40,000 tons of rice, in addition to that, they've brought in container loads of ready-to-install solar-powered units. And the objective is, in the shortest possible time, to convert away from fossil fuel dependent energy. Now that's reality. That's real. So my suggestion to the dear Prime Minister fellow who's scrambling to appear like he knows now what to do. When a few weeks ago, you remember when somebody calling themselves Prime Minister went on radio and said, if not CBI, what?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall that, Matthias Peltier?
I remember.
He threw his hands up in total, if you will, collapse. He had no idea what to do. He was publicly admitting, I do not know what to do. If not CBI, what? Now you see where CBI has landed us. Now, a lot of the funds that we have access to under this CBI envelope could have gone into installing solar-powered arrays in different parts of the island, could have gone into expanding an existing and proven source of power, hydro, could have gone towards installing and expanding a proven source of energy in terms of wind power. If you go to the Rosalie Resort, you will see an entire facility powered by one turbine. The important thing is, why do people who have policy making authority outside of a moment of emergency, why don't you in normal time just convene, call a breakfast meeting of people who you don't like, whose views you don't support, but who know more than you about these matters, and be honest and humble enough and admit, not because you are occupying the position of leader of the country, you are expected to know everything. Nobody expects that of you. But what we do expect is that you be honest and focused enough on your role as a leader to be able to bring people in and to hold the conversation about these matters that you're trying to suggest to us. Because geothermal, yes, is one of the renewable sources, but it is also not the most viable in terms of economic costs. If you are operating at outputs of less than 50 megawatts.
Mr. Mata, the question is, though, do we expect lesser prices because of geothermal?
Not because of geothermal. Not because of geothermal. Geothermal, this is a pilot plant, meaning it's an experimental plant designed to prove the sustainability and viability of the resource, not to contribute to the reduction in the cost of energy. If he has data that shows that, Lennon Matthew for years has been asking him, produce the data. Produce the data that everybody can look at and say the economic viability assessment data demonstrates that if we deliver 7 to 10 megawatts of power from geothermal to the grid, this will be the net reduction cost. Where is that data? You do not know yourself. You're not an economist. You're not a statistician. You're not a renewable energy expert. So as Prime Minister, not because you're Prime Minister, you should make us believe you know. What you should make us believe is that you are honest enough to open up the conversation to persons who have the knowledge and are willing and able to contribute. But no, you want to come out like you are the great liberator and savior. No, you cannot, you will not. You said, if not CBI, what? You know what? If you have led us to the point where we are now scrambling, where if over the last 5 years we had expanded our renewable energy resource to, let's say, 5 megawatts from solar, 5 megawatts from wind, and expanded hydro to get another 5 megawatts, we would have had 15 megawatts of power from proven sources of power. Right now, geothermal is experimental. Be honest. It is experimental.
How much money we have spent with for geothermal to get us to that point?
Excuse me?
I said, how much money have we spent to get us to the point we are right now with geothermal?
3.5 years ago, the government released a report which showed that they had by that time spent over $350 million. By calculations and extension of that calculation, we know it's now well over 400 million EC dollars. Not all of that is loan. Some of it is grant money. But let us be generous. Let us say that even if half of it was grant, it means we still spent over $200 million. And what we now have is an experimental power plant, which we now must put to the test to see if it can sustain delivery of its determined capacity of 10 megawatts. That is what geothermal technology best practice says you will do. But he's trying to convince the people that we have a proven source. It's not a proven source. The fact that you have a reservoir below there of 100 megawatts doesn't mean you are going to be able to extract from it on a sustained basis even 10 megawatts. That is what industry demands. That you set up a pilot plant of between 7 and 10 megawatts and run it for between 3 to 5 years to satisfy yourself that when you start delivering to your grid, you have a reliable, proven source of power.
But I think you will admit, though, based on the Prime Minister's statement there at the news conference yesterday, that we have to tighten our belts with what's going on in the Middle East.
Well, I agree, but let's start tightening the biggest belts in the country. Who are the biggest belts? We've just spent money doing what? Somebody brought in a $92,000 vehicle. How much money have we spent on police and security? What about spending more money on jobs? All of the young men and women in Dominica who have graduated from high school and state college in this past year, why not jobs related to establishing cores, with teams of young persons who will be trained by us to deliver services to agriculture, to deliver services to housing. So why not invest that money from the CBI money in training up your people, the absolute essential resource for development in the future is not just tightening the belt. The young people have had to tighten their belts already. Their parents have been tightening their belts. Are you suggesting that people haven't tightened their belts? Without tightening our belts, we would not have survived to this point. So let us invest in confidently building a talent, an army of talented persons in Dominica who now just don't sit on the corners and the blocks listening to nasty music and doing that, but they are actually being trained. And in the meantime, and you have the model, the NEP is a model. The only thing about NEPs is that you're not enhancing their skills level, which would have turned them by now into a professional group of young entrepreneurs who could now form their companies and contribute to, if you will, the agricultural expansion and the maintenance of expanded orchards of coffee, orchards of cocoa, whatever it is. So let us be clear. The significant event that would signal that the Prime Minister even understands what he means by tightening the belt. Tightening the belt means you prepare yourself for the deepening hard times that are coming. You cannot tell people who have already tightened their belts down to their bones to tighten their belts. What about you? You $64,000 a month to house you, sir? And you're talking to poor people about tightening their belts? Let's be serious. I mean, you're not talking to fools. If you think you're talking to fools, you are the biggest fool. Because people have their wits about them. That's why we survive. We survive because we are not spending the money we don't have. Although you're trying to lavish us with fet this and fet that and gospel this and gospel that. No, what about assembling sessions of building entrepreneurship, building skilled, professional, talented Dominicans? That's what we need to do so that we can move on beyond begging, move on beyond depending on other people for everything we need. Our food supply, our water supply. So many years we've talked about doing water. And the World Bank has just described water as the greatest contributing factor to global bankruptcy, because you can live without diesel, you can live without gasoline, but you cannot live for more than 2 days without water. The rest of the world needs water. So how about investment? We have our Chinese friends here. They know how to build quick ports. Why? How about 1 or 2 ports, one in Grand Bay, maybe one in Anse-du-May, another one north of Portsmouth, so that we can handle the assembling and the exporting of our water resources in a way that does not diminish our own water security. How about that? How about taking on that as a challenge and engaging young people and professionals in making those things happen? How about expanding the food supply so every shop and store in Dominica that sells food, no less than 40% of the food they sell would have to be locally produced? Why not something like that? Let's get serious. So getting on the thing and trying to be melodramatic and everybody's following what's going on in Asia, in the Middle East. We know what's happening, but the question is, why has it taken our region so long to even alert? Why has it taken you so long, Mr. Prime Minister, to come to the public? Why have you not held a public forum and say you have examined your policies over the last 12 years in terms of building resilience and they have failed and we have been caught with our pants down, so we are calling all hands on deck?
I'll take you on that point because we have very interesting points about Arthur Martin. Is it too late? Huh? Is it too late? Thank you, Arthur. Thank you as always. A lot of food for thought. Is it too late? Huh? Thank you, Arthur. Let's take a few other voices before we next stop there with Esmat. Are you there, caller? Yes?
Yes, Mr. Matt.
Yes, ma'am.
I call you Mr. Matt. It's too much M. Mr. Percy, I am looking at life. And every time you hear different coming and different things coming, I heard you play a clip there, and the Prime Minister said to tighten our belt. But in life, since I gave my life to Christ, fear does not take me. And I learned if I'm not well, maybe that will be a little concern, but fear does not take me. Because, you have people in Dominica with good counsel, those who have the plans of whatever it is they study. And why people that don't know about certain things, like Mr. Martin, why people that do not know about certain things, get them together, get all those that know certain things together and call a meeting, like a council meeting, and think, what are we going to do if certain things occur? But only one side alone I hear in talking, we are going to do this. Let me tell you people, God said the arm of flesh will fail you. So the psalmist say, when bad tidings come in, I fix my eyes upon God. Man said, I got to do this. You cannot do nothing in signs of temporary times. And we need to focus on God. And those who have good counsel, people that they have certain things and they're good in this, allow them to come in and join, whether we blue, green, yellow, pink, or gray. Let them come in and make a plan to see what we're going to do. But one said we're going to do this. Let me tell all you, if all you give God and you don't use good counsel, because the Bible tells when you don't like to listen to good counsel, you become a fool.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. Let's take more phone calls. Thank you. Yes,
I'm listening to Happy Martin giving you an explanation of how things should be done, and because man, it's really disturbing, man. Let me just go to my point before I go into what Mr. Martin is trying to explain to the people on the radio. Man, I've said it over and over again, and I'm going to say it right now this morning to you from what you just played from Roosevelt Skerritt. Matt, Roosevelt Skerritt was never, ever prepared to lead. These guys came in as bandits, and you could see the end result. For all the money that this country has handled, that this administration lay their hands on, Matt, this country should not be in the state that it's in. Lack of proper services, bad health services, and all the kind of stuff, man. And now you have people asking for money to make corrections, to vote in the interest of the country and their own interest in the future, man. And this is where we are. Now people have to tighten their belt, this and that. And Matt Potts, billions and billions of dollars. Is no way this country should be in that state for a country of 60, 70 something thousand people. We're not talking about 100,000, 300,000. So you have services for a bigger population. The thing is, and what people have failed to realize, this guy is not prepared. They do things willy-nilly, no studies, no nothing. They just do what they think, and it's only in their interest and by the people to vote them back in to continue the thievery, man. So all while we're talking things that make sense, things that develop the country, things that would progress, where you build a society and it will just keep paying dividends. None of that is done by this government, or was done, so to speak. So to really continue speaking of the ineptitude of this government, Matt, the evidence was from the jump street, was from the jump go. The guy was never prepared. The people who he had in with them was never prepared. And everybody ripped the country off. And now we're seeing the result of all what's taking place. So, Matt, even now, it's not going to help. If you wasn't prepared, you still ain't prepared, and you never will be. The fastest thing they could do right now is get these guys out of government and make them pay for the destruction of the country.
Somebody says, man, for the past years, we got enough CBI money to be a little Burkina Faso. But how a 10 megawatts would help at this time? It's a very small contribution. How are you going to spend $300 million and don't look at your profits, huh? On the telephone, yes. So stop coming up with S-Man in a minute. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
But not me again. Matthew, remember how this man was swearing in? He and Charles Savard playing a hide and seek. Charles Savard trying to reach the man first. He himself was trying to reach and he escaped and he leave Charles Savard behind. This man was never caught to be prime minister. This man don't know nothing. Nothing at all concerning prime minister. He just put us there in the country first. Thanks.
Good morning, quarterbacking. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's a WhatsApp message. Are we ready to deal with the realities of what's taking place in the Middle East? All right, somebody says, Carrot's posture, tone, and content comes across like a man who seemed defeated. Too little, too late. Your greed for power was your self-destruction mantra. 449-3095. Are you there, caller? No, you're not. Let's move on there. At the moment, we don't have too much time because we have stuff coming up with S-Man. So stick around, Dominic, stick around. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes? We have 5 minutes.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. How are you?
Morning. How you doing?
Okay, Matt. Everything this prime minister have planned to do, he always have the police at the back of him. You know why? It's because everything he's doing is corrupt, and he knows the people will revolt. So he have the police to harass people and to. But Mr. is just not a prime minister, and it's coming worse now because he under pressure, and the money that he hides somewhere, he cannot get it back. So that's how it is with Dominican. But that's what they do. That's what they pay. Let them pay for it, because they have say, Scarrett is Jesus and Edison James is Barabbas. So they sin against the Holy Ghost. And when you sin against the Holy Ghost, fire is on you. So let them pay for it, Dominican.
All right. Thank you. Somebody says, man, things in Dominica have been rough. Have you not seen the prices of commodities and cost of living? A working professional cannot save. Scary, just another opportunity. Is just gotten an opportunity to blame some external forces for the incompetence. It was financial crisis, then Erica, then Maria, then COVID, then Lennox Linton. Oh, now the war in Iran. It's always happy to get these things to blame somebody else. 25 years and the government failed to build a financially solid country. We have 3 more minutes. Hello, talk to me. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes.
I think Scarrett hasn't read the Bible and the story of Joseph, right? That 7 years of plenty, 7 years of later.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And all the time he's been having the CBI, he thinks it's a pipe just flowing and it will not stop. And he haven't prepared his people, his children or his nation for a time when there will not be plenty. He haven't prepared us. It's like a mother raising a child and not preparing the child for a time without them. You know, he always thinks that he and his supporters always think that we don't scare it. Like if Scarrett die or if something happen, like the country can never run. You have to prepare your country to deal without you. With all the money Scarrett have, we have only 60,000 people in the country. That's a stadium. That's a skyscraper in America. And you cannot manage the economy and the population to be in a better state than it was. independent food. We have to be creating in agriculture. It's just, we haven't prepared for anything. And right now, I can remember a lady coming and saying, "Dear sell." That wasn't just for the opposition. When something happened to one, it happened to all, because we are just a small country. We are a village in America with 60,000 people. So it's just a sad situation. And when those things get hard, that's how you'll see what a leader is. And right now, he's just panicking.
Paula, thank you very much. Now, our next stop is our friends are from SMAT. Stick around.
For all your shopping needs at the best prices in Dominica, shop at S-Mart. Shop at S-Mart.
Shop smart at S-Mart. Get some lotto.
Oh, my favorite shop.
Smart at S-Mart. Get a top up flow. And then shop smart at S-Mart.
Sunday.
Open on holidays. Shop smart at S-Mart. So much fresh fruit and produce.
Good quality service. Unlimited docking. All the best products at S-Mart. You get the best prices.
Shop smart at S-Mart.
For decades, Springfield Trading Limited has provided Dominica with a very trusted distribution platform of the highest quality, best prices. Every day can't do without products and consumer brands. And as the Springfield Trading wheels of distribution continue to turn, we serve this nation with distinction on all levels, supported by a unique merchandising service, serving all major accounts across Dominica, the best daily distribution mobile network, and a dedicated support team. It is no doubt that Springfield Trading is being saluted for its market service confidence, efficiency, and consistency. With quality in everything, Springfield Trading is providing the brands you know and have come to trust, depend, and rely on with flowing confidence. Distributors for holiday foods, grab a holiday, Fruta, real fruit juice, juiced right. Buster, you've gotta have a Buster. Chubby, every day is Monday. Colgate, a world of care. Crooks Biscuits, your vital supplies. Cadbury Chocolate, makes every day delicious. And so many more products, only from Springfield Trading Limited.
With my pharmacy, care for the family. Come on in, we'll treat you right. Got your remedies day and night. Need your medication, we'll fill your prescription. Satisfaction guaranteed. That's my pharmacy. Call if you're on the go. Pick up at the drive-through window, in the community. That's my pharmacy. That's my pharmacy on Goodwill Road. Call 235-2328. Satisfaction guaranteed. That's my pharmacy.
For all your shopping needs at the best prices in Dominica, shop at S-Mart. Shop at S-Mart.
Shop smart at S-Mart. Get some lotto.
Oh, my favorite shop.
Smart at S-Mart. Get a top up flow. And then shop smart at S-Mart.
Sunday.
Open on holidays. Shop smart at S-Mart. So much fresh fruit and produce.
Good quality service. Unlimited docking. All the best products at S-Mart. You get the best prices.
Smart at S-Mart. Got it.
All right, good morning to you, Rosemary, this morning. How you doing? Always smiling.
Oh, yes, Matt, I'm doing great.
You look great.
Yes, and I thank God for that.
That's it.
Let me just say that today it's a beautiful day in Dominica. And of course, today is a beautiful day to go down to S-Mart, your favorite supermarket on the island. We are ideally located on the Eolibla Highway next to E.H. Charles and Company and Do-It Center. Of course, like I said, when you go down to S-Mart, that's where you get, I can tell you, parking space. So it doesn't matter what is the size of your vehicle. It could be a dump truck. You get parking space, secured parking. And of course, like I always say, when you go down to S-Mart to shop and you are looking for your trolley, that's where you find the best trolleys. Beautiful green trolleys at S-Mart. And of course, when you drive your trolleys in, you have the space for trolleys, more than one trolley. You can be talking to your friends, keeping a conversation, because you have what it takes in terms of space. But just to say to you customers, when you are inside the supermarkets, I would really want everybody to look up, because I know everybody looking around and you're seeing so many things, you do not know what to choose or what you're going to look at. But the reason why I say we must look up, because we have the beautiful photos with our culture at SMAT. And I want everybody to look at it because it's beautiful. And we have culture like Jinping. You know, when people dancing Jinping, you can see the photos, of course. And we have people beating the drum. You know what we call the taboo? Oh, yes, they are beating the taboo, and I can tell you they are looking good. Also, we have photos of our beautiful we have some beautiful farmers in Dominica, like the ladies who are planting the vegetables. Beautiful ladies planting vegetables in Dominica. I can say to you, nothing to be compared to that. Also, we have our carnival lovers, beautiful photos of our carnival lovers. So you just have to look up, like I said, when you are at SMAT. We have photos of our national bird. Also, I can tell you that if you are looking at the photos, you will also see Point Baptist in Dominica, Trafalgar Falls. You will see Freshwater Lake, Indian River, Scott's Head. I can tell you, Bury Lake, all these photos. And I can tell you, you will be seeing Trafalgar Fall and the Sulphur Spring. So you see why you have to go down to SMAT and you need to look at these beautiful photos. But what's going on at SMAT today is what? First day, it's almost weekend. Well, if you go down to SMAT today, I can say to you that you're going to get your chive, you are going to get your parsley, you are going to get your celery, you are going to get spinach, you are going to get Chinese cabbage. All these vegetables, fresh vegetables at SMAT. And of course, you know, at SMAT, you'll get your cabbage, you'll get your carrots, you'll get everything that you are looking for. Of course, but you know, everybody loves their deli. Yes, so we have deli sliced ham, we have deli sliced honey ham, we have smoked ham. Also, you will get the premium deli smoked ham and turkey breast. And I can tell you, the turkey breast it's in a container, and you have 1 pound of turkey breast. I know everybody loves to have their sandwiches, and you want something that's really tasting good. So you see why you have to go down to SMAT while it is available. Also, we know that we have to take care of our health, and these are things that we can't do without. We have to ensure that we make sacrifices, but we have to eat them. So if you go down to SMAT now, you will get asparagus, you will get cauliflower, you will also get beets. And I'm always saying, you know, with beets, once you have beets, it is good to eat. It is good to make juice, because I can tell you it is good for our high blood pressure. So beet is something we should never do without. Okay, so go down to SMAT. It is available right now. Also, we have cherry tomatoes. We also have whole wheat pita bread. And I know everybody should know what is pita bread, but pita bread, they're flat and you have like five of this bread in the plastic, and you can get it in whole wheat, you can get it in white, but that is something I think everybody should be eating, because we have to change the kind of bread that we are eating, and we have to go into healthy breads. So you need to go down to Smart and check out the flat bread, 5 in the bag. Healthy, like I said. And also we have whole wheat pita bread. If you want whole wheat, you can also get that. And you can get your bagels. Like I said, bagels, they are very healthy. You have 6 bagels in a pack, 6 in a pack. And as I said to you, they are not small bagels, they are big bagels. And what is good about it, it's the price. Because you are getting 6 big bagels for only $6.50. Also, when you go down to Smart, you're not looking just for white bagels. You want to get avocado bagels, and the avocado bagels, it have all different type of healthy seeds. That is a good thing about the avocado bagels. All the different healthy seeds is on that. And also, we have whole wheat. We have classic plain. So I can say to you, in the bagels, you have a large selection to choose from. Also, when you go down to Smart, you are looking for healthy looking bell peppers. You are looking for like green bell pepper. You are looking for red bell peppers. You are looking for orange bell peppers, because when you have bell peppers in your food, it's really making a difference in the plate of food that you are having for lunch or for dinner. It makes a difference instead of just having the food looking plain. You don't want to have food looking plain in front of you. No, you want to have some bell pepper to make it look rich. So when you go down to Smart, you will get bell pepper. Also, if you go down to Smart presently, you will get cottage cheese. It's available. We have ricotta. It's also available. And of course, if you go down to Smart, I know you want to have coffee. When you get up in the morning, a little coffee is really, really making you feel good. I know some persons, yes, they love plain coffee. They do not want anything in their coffee. All they want to see is the black coffee. I mean, that's what they love, right? And I know that there are some persons who can't do without, their chobani in their coffee. Okay, that's the coffee creamer. And we have brands like Chobani, which is very, very healthy. We have also we have the we have the Chobani, but there are persons who love different types in their coffee. So I want you to go down to Smart and take advantage. Also, if you go down to Smart, we have a probiotic yogurt, 16 ounces for only $20. I can tell you that we have to eat yogurts because we know that yogurt is very healthy for the body. Also, in terms of fruits, we cannot give up on the fruits because we may want to get some dragon fruits. Yes, so you can get a few dragon fruits right now. We have the cantaloupe, we have honeydew, we have pears, we have kiwi, we have peaches, we have nectarine, we have plum, and of course, we have red grapes. We also have the original tofu. I know some persons who cannot eat meat, no meat at all. So you have to get your tofu. We have soft tofu, we have medium, we have firm, and we have extra firm. Also, we have a large selection of apples. Like I said, that's the supermarket where you will get the greatest selection in apple. And so right now we take a break and we'll be right back.
For decades, Springfield Trading Limited has provided Dominica with a very trusted distribution platform of the highest quality, best prices. Every day can't do without products and consumer brands. And as the Springfield Trading wheels of distribution continue to turn, we serve this nation with distinction on all levels, supported by a unique merchandising service, serving all major accounts across Dominica, the best daily distribution mobile network, and a dedicated support team. It is no doubt that Springfield Trading is being saluted for its market service confidence, efficiency, and consistency. With quality in everything, Springfield Trading is providing the brands you know and have come to trust, depend, and rely on with glowing confidence. Distributors for holiday foods, grab a holiday, Fruta, real fruit juice, juiced right. Buster, you've gotta have a Buster. Chubby, every day is Monday. Colgate, a world of care. Crooks Biscuits, your vital supplies. Cadbury Chocolate, makes every day delicious. And so many more products, only from Springfield Trading Limited.
For all your shopping needs at the best prices in Dominica, shop at S-Mart. Shop smart at S-Mart.
Shop smart at S-Mart.
Oh, my favorite shop.
Smart at Smart. Top up flow. Shop smart at Smart.
Sunday.
Open on holidays. Shop smart at Smart. So much fresh fruit and produce.
Good quality service. Unlimited parking. All the best products at S-Mart. You get the best prices. Smart at S-Mart.
S-Mart Pharmacy. Care for the family. Come on in, we'll treat you right. Got your remedies day and night. Need your medication. We'll fill your prescription. Satisfaction guaranteed. That's my pharmacy. Call if you're on the go. Pick up on the drive-through window. In the community. That's my pharmacy.
That's my pharmacy on Goodwill Road. Call 235-2328.
Satisfaction guaranteed. That's my pharmacy.
Gotta get the truth set, yo. You got to get the truth right and get the truth. The one with the fruta inside, yeah.
No ordinary fruit make it into fruta. We carefully select the juiciest, fruitiest fruit.
Looking for your taste, yeah. You know it. You got it. You know it. Fruta inside, yeah.
So you get the real fruit in every sip. Fruta, only the best get juice.
Fruta, choose right, yeah.
For all your shopping needs at the best prices in Dominica, shop at S-Mart. Shop smart at S-Mart.
Shop smart at Smart.
Oh, my favorite shop.
Smart at Smart. Top up flow. Shop smart at Smart.
Sunday.
Open on holidays. Shop smart at Smart. So much fresh fruit and produce.
Good quality service. Unlimited parking. All the best products at S-Mart. You get the best prices.
Smart at Smart.
Let's go back to Rosemary this time.
Yes, yes, customers, when you go down to S-Mart, I can tell you that we have our milk and we have healthy milk. We have milk like lactate milk. And the lactate milk, we have like 2% reduced fat. It is 2% reduced fat in that milk. And I can tell you with that lactate milk, it fortifies with ultra filters, okay? And I can tell you it's skim milk, it's partly skimmed, so it's healthy and lactose free. So this milk, it is lactose free and it has 13 grams of protein. So you know it's healthy. And the size, of course, we have like half a gallon and 1.54 liters in terms of the size. We have Planet Oat Milk. And let me say to you that Planet Oat Milk, that's one of the healthiest milk you can think of. Very, very healthy. Planet Oat Milk. And we have the extra creamy. So if you do not want extra creamy, you can just get original. But if you want it extra creamy, you can get that. We also have vanilla. We also have it in vanilla, and we have sweetened and unsweetened. And of course, I can tell you that it is excellent source of calcium. Excellent source of calcium. And it has vitamins. Okay, so as like I said, this is what we call healthy milk in the planet milk. Very, very, very healthy. We also have the almond milk. Almond milk, we have it in half gallons and we have it in 1 gallon. And we have, I must should tell you the price. The half gallon, I should tell you about the price. The price is only $24.65. We also have vanilla, okay? In terms of, we know that we have some people, they can't take no sugar, and we have to respect that when a customer says, I can't take sugar. Yes, so we have to ensure that we have what they are looking for. So if you go down to SMAT, you will get your unsweetened and you will also get original, okay? So unsweetened and you will get your original. Of course, there's lots more at SMAT. And I just want to say to you customers, when you go to SMAT Delhi, all now so I can tell you, if you go, you're going to get breakfast. And, you know, right now preparation is going on for lunch. So by 12:30 to 1 o'clock, you know, lunch is ready in the deli. But I can say to you that there's a lot to eat from the deli. But I just want to say to you that some of the things I know that everybody love in that deli, we have like the apple tarts. Apple tarts, it really tastes good. And we have the custard tarts. Also, we have cinnamon swirl. So if you have never tasted that cinnamon swirl from Esmat Deli, I think today is a day to go to taste it because it's really tasting different, really good. Also, we have plain croissant available at Esmat Deli. We have multi-grain baguette. Multi-grain baguette. So we have half and we have the entire long baguettes. Okay, so that's why you have to go down to Esmat because you want to test it. Of course, we have multi-grain loaves. Multi-grain loaves. So all these available at Esmat Deli. And also, if you are looking because you want to get something good, you maybe want to get some ham, you want to get some cheese, and lots more. They are sold by quarter pound if you want to buy half pound. So whatever amount that you need, you request it, and I can tell you it's done right away. So you will see everything in the deli. You just ask for whatever you want. And before we close, let me just say that we want to call on our farmers. But before I call on the farmers, we know it's month end, and I know that everybody wants to have good meat at their home. You want to cook something different. So probably you want beef or you want to get some good pork. And by the way, let me say to you, the pork at Esmat is really, really good pork. And the way that it is cut is just cut. All you have to do is wash, season, and put in the pot. So you have no job to go and do to be slicing pork or taking big knife or cutlass and cutting. You know, you don't have to do that. You have the right size. Okay, the right size. So if you want 2 pounds, you can just say, okay, that's for lunch on Sundays. I want 2 pounds of pork. It's already cut. It's already there for sale. So you pick it up. And I can tell you, is this pork, that's pork you do not see plenty fat. You know, you see pork and you hardly see fat on the pork. That tells you it is good. Also, you know, that's where you will get your chicken leg quarters. And I must say that we have good leg quarters at Esmat. You know, it's 10 pounds in a bag. Of course, if you want it cut, it is sold cut already in the plastic. It's well cut, it's well sliced. But if you do not want it cut, you just pick up your bag and that's it. Now, I know that there are persons, you are buying because you want to buy like a carton of leg quarters. Now, a carton of leg quarters is only 4 bags of leg quarters in a carton. And you do not even have to ask for them to take it at the back because it is already in the refrigerator. You just have to pick it up. Okay, you just pick up if it's 2 cartons you want, right there. No problem. You pick it up, you go to the cashier. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Also, we know it's close to month end, and maybe there are persons who want to be, doing some barbecue. So you want to, not only chicken you want to barbecue. I'm certainly sure there are persons who want to barbecue and who want to be doing fish. You right? And you want to get fish like dolphin, even dolphin heads you can get at Smart. And I can tell you at very, very low prices. And dolphin head is one of the best things to make your broth. So you go down to Smart and you pick that up. It is always available. But if you want to get good fish, you want to get tuna, you want to get marlin, all that, it's available at Smart. And of course, I know persons who want to get like some red fish. Okay, now we do not have the red fish like red fish when you go by the bay to get red fish, or but you can get slices of red fish. Okay, that's what you call like fillet. You get that at Smart, and that is something that's really, really tasting good. So it's like, if I decide I'm gonna get maybe 2 pieces because I have a friend that's going to have dinner with me, and I have to give them something special, something to really, really, really make them feel happy, because Rosemary is gonna give them that good red fish fillet. I'm sure I have to make a sacrifice and to buy it because it is good, but it's worth it. So when you go down to Smart, I really want you to have a look at it because it's really good. And of course, like I said, it's Sunday and you want to cook good food. Let me say that we have some very, very, very good macaroni. See, I love to tell my customers what we have at Smart. The macaroni that we sell at Smart, the quality is very good. Sometimes you say you're going to make macaroni and cheese, but as soon as you put that macaroni in the water, it's too soft. And because it is soft, it cannot make a macaroni and cheese. But I want you to go to Smart and see for yourself and try it. I always say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So just try it and make your macaroni and cheese, because all I have been doing is making my macaroni and cheese on Sundays with that macaroni because it's tasting so good and it feels so good. So you see why I would like you to taste it. And I'm certainly sure after you try this macaroni, I will be looking at all my customers who are going to come back to me to say, Rosemary, what you said is really true. Okay? So before we close, let me just call on our farmers to say that we need at Smart, we need pineapples, we need soursop, we need limes, we need passion fruits, and we need mangoes. So if you have these, I need you to contact Rian at telephone number 275-2367. 275-2367. And let me say to you that we at Smart, we love you very much and we appreciate you. And we want you to have a good weekend. And let me just say to everyone that Rosemary love you and God bless you.
Very much, Rosemary. Looking forward to seeing you again next week, same time, same place. Thank you so much.
For all your shopping needs at the best prices in Dominica.
Shop at S-Mart. Shop smart at S-Mart.
Shop smart at S-Mart. Give me some Lotto.
Oh, my favorite shop.
Smart at S-Mart. Get a top up flow. Shop smart at S-Mart.
Sunday to Sunday.
Open on holidays. Shop smart at S-Mart. So much fresh fruit and produce.
Good quality service. Unlimited parking. All the best products at S-Mart. You get the best prices.
Smart at S-Mart.
All right, Dominique, over here, continuing our discussion there. Represent the report there. Some of the implications there of this war ongoing. As we hear, the world's busiest shipping lanes for oil and gas is in chaos.
Gas is in chaos and regional. One of the world's busiest shipping lanes for oil and gas is in chaos, and regional energy production facilities are under attack. From Asia to Europe and the Americas, the economic effect of the war in the Middle East is already being felt. What began as US and Israeli strikes against Iran has become a regional conflict which could affect the whole global economy. So what are the risks as the war continues to upend energy markets? To understand this and all the news shaping our world, don't forget to subscribe to AFP. Here in Britain's Yorkshire Dales, the picturesque village of West Burton is a long way from Iran. But the effects of the war are still being felt. Many locals rely on oil to heat their homes, and prices have more than doubled since hostilities began.
I've got about 800 litres in my tank. We can all turn the heating down a little bit so it'll last a little bit longer.
On the other side of the world in Asia, queues have been forming at filling stations as prices rise. Car use has been halved here in Myanmar, with number plates ending in odd and even numbers only allowed to drive on alternate days. Even so, there's been a scramble for petrol in a country where 90% of fuel oil is imported. It's a particular worry for Zay Yafyo, who works as a taxi driver. The price rises all come down to what's happening here, in the Strait of Hormuz, off Iran's southern coast. Its shores are dotted with refineries, and in normal times around 20% of the world's oil production passes through this narrow channel. Iran knows it's a pressure point for the global economy, and before the war, its Revolutionary Guards conducted military drills in the Strait, showing how they could target shipping in the event of a war. Now, in response to the US and Israel's massive campaign of airstrikes on Iran, they say they will not allow the export of a single litre of oil from the region. At least a dozen vessels have been attacked trying to sail through the strait, according to Britain's Maritime Security Agency. The effect on shipping has been stark. This time-lapse of data from the website Maritime Traffic starts before the war and shows the number of ships passing through declining to nearly zero 5 days in. The US says it's sunk multiple Iranian naval vessels, and President Trump says the US Navy could escort tankers through the strait, though plans are yet to materialize, and the International Maritime Organization is not confident it would solve the problem.
This is not a full solution. This, of course, has its limitation in the number of ships that can be protected, but it could provide some relief.
As well as shipping, Iran's retaliatory strikes have also targeted energy infrastructure in countries across the Gulf. Oil storage depots, such as this one in the United Arab Emirates, have been hit, and some of the world's largest oil and gas refineries have been shut down, including Ras Tanura in Saudi Arabia and two of Qatar's largest natural gas facilities.
The attacks on energy facilities that has happened also on both sides is a dangerous precedent that will cause not only the region to lose economically in our business models here in the region, but it will cause repercussions throughout the world.
Meanwhile, the US and Israel have started attacking energy infrastructure in Iran itself, though so far they have held off from hitting Karg Island, Iran's deepwater hub in the Gulf, which processes 90% of its oil exports. This leaves a window open for exports to resume once the war is over, but the US and Israel may yet decide to completely cripple Iran's oil production, which accounts for 90% of its budget revenues. The disruption has caused prices to soar, briefly hitting their highest level since the outbreak of the Ukraine war 4 years ago. Iran is the fourth largest oil producer among OPEC countries. Asia is most directly affected, as the vast majority of oil from the Gulf region is shipped there.
We can weather through a short period of time, but I think over the long run, it's going to cause a huge trouble because overall, the world's oil supply is very much limited. If you knock out 10 to 15% on a long-term basis, that's going to have a huge implication.
Even though European countries don't import much directly from the region, they too will be affected as Asia scrambles for supplies. In an effort to keep prices down, International Energy Agency member states are releasing 400 million barrels of oil from their reserves, the largest ever such release, with Japan and Germany also tapping their own reserves. The reason this is such a problem for governments isn't just that energy itself becomes more expensive, but that higher costs are passed on throughout the economy, causing higher inflation. Despite all the doom and gloom, this could still be good news for some. For now, Russia is pleased at the rise in oil prices. Since it invaded Ukraine in 2022, the country's energy industry has been heavily sanctioned by Western nations. In a recent meeting with energy bosses, Russian President Vladimir Putin said he'd be more than happy to resume selling oil and gas to European countries if they ask.
Moscow is a huge winner from a supply cutoff in the Middle East because their oil and gas will be much more in demand than it was before. So for Putin, it's actually a double benefit because he's going to experience higher oil prices than he has under the sanction programs without this crisis. And that means more money to continue and fight his war against Ukraine.
Rising energy prices will also benefit the US as a net exporter of energy, but even here, the price of fuel at the pump will likely rise with global markets, which could be bad news for Donald Trump's Republican Party ahead of November's midterm elections. Writing on his social network, Truth Social, President Trump had this message for voters. Short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for USA and world safety and peace. Only fools would think differently. With the head of the IMF saying that uncertainty is the new normal, perhaps the only thing that is certain is that the longer the war lasts, the greater the economic impact will be.
Dominica, so we heard there, a world report that it's certainly going to have an impact on the rest of the world. Let's that song going there. Not only Dominica, the rest of the world. Listen to the Prime Minister again.
We'll implement a series of targeted measures designed to cushion the impact on households and businesses. First, we will introduce targeted relief measures to help manage the rising cost of living. This will include temporary reductions on duties and taxes on essential goods and increased support for vulnerable households through our social protection programs. Second, we are taking steps to manage energy costs. We will work closely with the Dominica Electricity Services to moderate the impact of rising fuel prices on electricity tariffs. And of course, geothermal is coming just at the opportune time. Third, we will protect jobs and economic activity. We will engage with stakeholders in tourism, agriculture, and the private sector to ensure continuity and resilience during this period. Fourth, we are strengthening our fiscal management, carefully prioritizing government spending to ensure that critical services are maintained while some discretionary expenditures are deferred. And so we continue to monitor, and as you can see, we have been already working towards taking action to mitigate against the impact. My dear citizens, this moment also reminds us of a collective responsibility that we have not given the importance it deserves. We must reduce our dependence on imported fuel and food. That is why the government will accelerate investment in renewable energy, which will provide more stable and affordable electricity for our people. We will also expand support for local agriculture so that more of what we consume is grown right here in Dominica. This is not only a response to the crisis, this is strengthening commitment and strategy implementation in a successful manner and on a path to greater national resilience and self-reliance. I understand the anxiety that rising prices can bring. I understand the pressure that families may feel in the weeks ahead. But I ask you to remain calm, to remain united, and to remain confident in our ability to weather the economic fallout from the escalating conflict in the Middle East.
Don't panic, but tie your waist, huh? Just a warning there from the Prime Minister. Somebody says the government is happy for that, for what has happened, so they can use it as an excuse for an already failing economy. The numbers again are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. The pressure has always been there, so this excuse will not work, somebody says. Grow what you eat and eat what you grow, huh? A solution going forward. You have some suggestions, huh? And government, it's been told, have bigger problems because Dubai is under fire this time. But we have answers to possible problems in our country. Ride more bicycles, walk short distances, cook on charcoal, bring bakeries, bring back bakeries. Okay, that's the point I just picked up there. Grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Overall, a healthier life. We have clean water, we have clean air. We can consider hydro water. We have the rivers. We don't have to tie our waist too tight if leadership considers our own natural resources. On that note, save the wash. We really need the clean water. Somebody says, save the wash because we really need the clean water. All right. Somebody says, when the Prime Minister said not to panic, I will take that with a grain of salt. Remember when it was said to you, Suse Sal? The signs of the times, huh? Watch for this. It's going to be used as an excuse to pamper the liberates. As indicated there, a good time to save the wash and keep the clean water fresh. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, Tristan. On the telephone, hello, talk to me. Save the water for the Kalinagos. Good morning to you, yes.
Mr. Peltier, I heard you in a press conference yesterday with the high-proof people, Mr. Prime Minister. Mr. Peltier, you had a gentleman from Point Michel and a man from Kulibi Street, Mr. Louis, and one from Marigot. I'm sure you remember those elderly farmers. Mr. Telemac is still alive. Telemac is around 80 to 90 years.
Still alive, yes.
And Mr. Peltier, remember these gentlemen was preaching, telling us there is a storm coming, prepare for it. And we had taken them on political drive. We was bashing them and cursing them and insulting these elderly men.
Yes, I remember.
Mr. Peltier, as a journalist, I have a lot of respect for you. But I think sometimes you also need to take a little more time to go through the basic things to help the Prime Minister to lead him. Because all this topic I heard you talk about yesterday may have been saying that the farmers, the small business people, as you. There is a gentleman in Portsmouth who bought a boat, an elderly man, and that boat was a ferry boat. That boat get punctured somewhere in Grenada for years now with an engine problem. It was a ferry. Mr. Pelty, there's a lot of rich men that is around Portsmouth. You always hear them talking plenty. They have business. The banks refuse their millions. They leave a lot of money all in the airport in England traveling with Ruzi. Where these men to take that boat from Grenada Punch and bring it to Dominica and help to trade? The same thing you telling the Prime Minister. I told him in farming, in small business. Mr. Pelder, if you listen to the Chinese ambassador, they're having a trade, how you call it, an exhibition, I think, somewhere in November in China. And they're asking all the countries that is working with China in the Caribbean to come to that trade show. Don't you think it's the right time for the Prime Minister to get somebody like Mr. Sobers from Mahu work with trade and marketing in the region, promoting Dominica, to go to that trade show with Dominica products? And the Chinese ambassador, he say they're willing to buy Dominica products like our soap and all those things. I think what I'm doing, the Prime Minister, he needs to humble himself a little more, work with the people he himself don't like, as he always saying, and I think he rely on his supporters too much to flame up fire. And even on the opposition side, more than getting to the basic. Mr. Pelder abandoned a lot of the same projects the Prime Minister talk about. Tourism. I heard he boasts about small people in the community to get in tourism. But they don't pay no attention, Mr. Pelder. Look at we, the small business in Roseau, we crying. We don't even get a space. We have $30 million. He's boasting about $30 million they have in the bank. But you know, the amount of red tape is a favorite thing. I make apply 2 times. There are other men that apply 6 times and they never get Mr. Pelty. And there are other people that goes there and get $800,000 and $900,000. And they're not in small business. He has to look into those things. Some people don't even have access to get to some of the ministry. I told you about some of those projects. I get blocked. And he talk about the opposition is oppressing his project. There are people in his ministry. There are people in his ministry that don't come to his 2 government meetings to approve government projects. And his people is his supporters. Mr. Pelder, you heard the former minister from Tukare went in a ministry, turn a table over, he threw it on the ground. And he said there is racket and bubble going on in the ministry. You know what they do with that ministry? They take it and they put it on the down floor for the Haitians and the Spanish. And these people have the immunity. They don't have to go through security, Mr. Pelty. You know what I'm talking about. The Haitian people, they have the office. They take that office from the ministry and they put it on the down floor outside of the government headquarters, underneath privately like an embassy. So there's where the Prime Minister needs to focus more on his people. Because you can't fix everything in the world, you know, Mr. Pelty. What is happening there, not the opposition, and even the opposition in government. Trump and them is on a mission, and that is where we need to come together and work better as Caribbean people.
All right, Cole, I got your point there. I got your point there. Yes, come together. Dominicans, yes. Going back to this one from Ophelia, I'm suffering.
I'm suffering. What I care for, I'm to do. I'm to do. No, I care for, I'm to do. I'm loitering. Food to hide for, I'm to buy. I'm to buy. Food to hide for, I'm to buy. And I'm hungering. I'm suffering. Establishment all gone to hell. Establishment all gone to hell. Controllers exploiting. Rich man greedy, he grab all. He grab all the rich man greedy.
That song was written in 1978. Still timely today, huh? I man suffering. Good morning to you. Ambassador Crispin Gragwa, I know you've been monitoring the situation there, and of course we just heard from the Prime Minister that we have to, take control and tighten our waists, if anything else, because things will get worse before getting better. Crispin, good morning to you. How are you doing?
Yes, good morning, Matt Kelke, and good morning to your listeners.
Good morning again. Crispin, you've been monitoring the war between in the Middle East. A lot of countries, not only Iran, Israel, and America has been affected at this time, but the world is facing some tough time. Would you agree?
Oh, certainly, Matt. We are in a very difficult situation globally. Instability seems to be reigning supreme, and of course, the impact of the Iran, the war with Iran, United States, and Israel has had implications that were totally unforeseen. And one of them is that many, as you've just pointed out, many countries that have been brought into the orbit of this conflict. And it's like, when you drop a stone in water, it kind of has a ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
That is what is happening, Matt. So the rippling effect has reached Latin America and the Caribbean. And the first impact is the price of oil, which has gone up and gone down a little bit, but going back up. Because, the amount of oil that has been lost coming through the Strait of Hormuz, it means that there's only a few tankers applying that route. Many tankers are waiting to get crude oil cargo in Saudi Arabia and other places, Arab Emirates, and they can't do that. So we have a problem with the supply of oil. That is why the International Energy Agency has recommended that countries who have stockpiles of oil to start drawing up on the stockpiles of oil to prevent the escalation, a serious escalation of the price, because there's a scarcity of oil in the world right now because of this conflict in the Middle East.
But can I posed that question this morning, can the government absorb a little more in terms of taking away from their profits to give the people an ease?
Yes, well, the other impact, Matt, is on prices in the supermarket. Because the Caribbean region, and Dominica included, depends on a lot of food imports. You have two problems. One is the price of oil is going to make transportation go higher, and that will be passed on to the consumer. So the Prime Minister is totally correct to begin to warn Dominicans to start to tighten their belt, because that heavy dependence on food imports and for the supermarket to be the supplier to your kitchen, that is problematic, because inflation price and the price of transport is going to impact prices to consumers. So I think people need to start growing more food, especially if you're in the villages. Plant what you eat, because the more you can do that, the better you save. So the Prime Minister is right. And then I think on the question of transport, people have to reduce their travel because it will cost. Petrol is likely to cost more. We don't know for how long. So we are into a very uncertain, unstable period, Matt.
Yes, go ahead. You're saying
And
something.
I wanted to add, I take the President of the United States seriously when he says that Cuba is next. I expect some kind of intervention in Cuba. Like Venezuela, we didn't know how it would play out. And Matt, you remember I was warning that everything pointed to an intervention in Venezuela. And you saw a type of intervention we had not seen before. Now, the president of the United States is saying that the Cuban president should resign, and I see further conflict in the Caribbean, instability in the Caribbean around Cuba, and we have to tighten our belts for that. If that happens, it's going to adversely impact a number of things in the region. One is air transport. The air zones can be closed. Navigation can be reduced. Cruise ships can stop running. I mean, there are a whole range of things that could happen if there's a conflict with Cuba, and we have to brace ourselves for what's coming. But everything that I have seen in the last week, where countries in the Caribbean are beginning to pull away from a relationship with Cuba, that tells me that they are under serious pressure from Washington, and they're doing what is called self-preservation right now.
Again, Crispin, we have to tighten our ways. 449-3095. Again, Crispin Gregor, always willing to, make a contribution there to national development. All right, Dominica, 449-3095-96. Let's go back to Ophelia. I'm on suffering, huh? It's on our doorsteps. Don't say I didn't warn you. Hello, yes? Sorry.
I'm suffering. I'm suffering. No one care for I'm man to do. I'm man to do. I'm man to do. No one care for I'm man to do. I'm man either. Food to hide for a man to buy, a man to buy, a man to buy. Food to hide for a man to buy, and I'm hungry. I'm suffering. Establishment all gone to hell, gone to hell, gone to hell. Establishment all gone to hell, controllers exploiting. Rich man greedy, he grab all, he grab all, he grab all. Rich man greedy, he grab all, and I'm a...
Well, the Prime Minister says, you should not panic. But is that a fair statement? Let's go back to the telephone at this time. 10:35, 25 more minutes. Hello, good morning to you. How are you doing? How are you doing, sir?
Good.
Yes?
I have I'd like to just remind us of an issue that I'd like to hear the government speak out about.
Which is
because
that?
it has both national and regional implications. And it has to do with the stability of the financial system of our region. As you know, all the currencies of the region use the US dollar as their reserve currency. Our Eastern Caribbean Central Bank and all the other central banks, we don't hold gold, we hold dollars. It is very clear that as a result of the unfolding crisis out of the Middle East, there's going to be serious repercussions on the value of the dollar because several countries are moving away from using the US dollar as their reserve currency, which is leading to, according to the experts, a gradual but steady weakening of the US dollar as a global security currency. We in the region, I haven't heard CARICOM or the central banks of the region or the ministers of finance of the region speak to that issue. What measures are we putting in place to secure our financial architecture? For example, one suggestion is most of the other countries that are moving away from dependence on the US dollar are purchasing gold, have been purchasing gold. Right now, gold is so very expensive, it's probably not a good time to purchase. But with Guyana, as a member of CARICOM, having access to homegrown, home-available gold reserves, is this an option being considered by CARICOM and the Ministers of Finance, that we can have a gradual sharing of the reserve currency function between US dollars and a holding of gold, which a member country of CARICOM can mine and hold for us on behalf of the region, so that, it's not just what is hitting us now we should focus on. We expect our governments to take a medium to longer term view of some of the issues that are likely to unfold and impact us even more severely than the cost and price of goods in the store, which I believe have shorter term solutions. But I raise this so that you can expand the dialogue when next you get a chance to ask the Prime Minister or the Minister of Finance. Call the Minister of Finance. Are there propositions and proposals on the table for securing the reserve currency of our region, which happens to be the US dollar? What's being done about that? So I just raise it as an additional issue for our attention.
Thank you, Arthur. Thank you as always.
Redemption day, redemption day, redemption day. Soon will come redemption day, and I man conquering.
It's 10:35. Are you there? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Yes, Matt. Good morning.
Morning to you.
How are you, Matt?
I'm okay for now.
Okay, Matt, you see what's going on there now?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's blame on the Labour Party administration.
You putting blame on them?
On the Labour Party administration.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you why. That money was swinging in the place, Giving people money, putting money in the wrong places. At that time, what the government should have been doing is develop industries, develop factories. I remember in 2009, in a Labour Party rally in St. Joseph, they said one boat will be going north, another boat will be going south. So farmers will transport, export their produce. Up till now, we cannot see that under this Labour Party administration. All factories in Dominica closed. Labour Party did nothing to upgrade Dominicans. Then giving people handouts there, and nothing coming in. Not if a country not exporting nothing. We're not exporting nothing. What can we do? How the revenue going to come in? If it's a passport, what? Why the passport program? So what are we going to depend on? What are we going to fall back on? Not this Labour Party administration, through the leadership of Skerrit, have to take the blame of the economy if it collapses. It's about to collapse. It is about to collapse. That's why I tell people tidy away. Very soon, civil servants will not be able to get salaries. My legal advice to Skerrit on them now. Put the airport project on hold and take some of that money and try to put it in the manufacturing sector so that Dominica can export things. And then we'll continue. When we start to export, we have factories in place, industries in place. We can continue the airport project. Because what the airport going to be? It's going to be a white elephant anyway. Thank you, Matt. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Dominica, we're here, and it's already what? 10:38. Hello, talk to me, yes? Morning to you. How are you?
I would like to quickly eat what you grow for me.
Mm-hmm.
That is from the Junior Calypso 2012.
2012. All
Yes.
right. We'll try to find Eat What You Grow. Okay. All right. Thank you.
And I'm an hungry. I'm suffering. Soon gonna come redemption day, redemption day, redemption day. Soon will come redemption day, and I'm unconquering. Ah, la, 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 la. Ay, 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 ay. I'm suffering.
On the telephone. Hello, talk to me. Yes. Uh-huh.
This is Matt. What's happening?
How you doing, my brother? How are you? Yes.
I hear what's happening.
All right.
Matt, we have to tire our waste for true, but some of these people have tired their waste. They should start tiring their waste long time because I think we lost the votes. And sometimes we never miss the water till they run dry. And if you want to go to heaven, you have to prepare. We never prepared. All the millions and millions and millions going through. So many years gone, nothing happened. All agriculture dead, gone through. Bananas dead. Passion fruit had diseases. Our water, we had some good water. People was bottling water. All that gone, nobody showing interest. Our medical school gone. And everything gone. Right? Now, you know, for that have been in trouble. Now the situation in terms of tire waste, we tire waste during the bad time, when we had time. So now the bad time, now we can't even tie waste again. Okay? I think they should be looking at one of the things, reduction in terms of the amount of ministers they have, so we can have more money there. And they're traveling. He said, stop traveling and so on. Reduce the amount of ministers we have and the salaries. You can have all those ministers looking at young money and so on, and they sit down. Tire waste. Let us tire waste. Look serious at price control. Because people just put in anything on prices. Okay? But we are in serious trouble when we lost the votes, man. Let's hope we can survive, especially for the younger people. Let us survive. Let's see if we can survive. Thank you, Matt.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. My theme song for the morning now.
Matt, I wish he had started by saying, I will be moving back to Vegas, back to my home in Vegas, and relieve the people of that $64,000 home on the backs of Dominica taxpayers. That's the first thing he should have started off by saying. Move back to Vegas to my home and relieve the people from paying $64,000 a month. Thank you.
I'm suffering.
Somebody says, man, the man who asks you to tie your waist is the same person who is about to increase salary and benefit of the president. Sorry, you should cut the cabinet of 8 ministers and fire all the hangers on and former ministers who have big jobs at this time. Let's start the court there. Somebody suggesting. Hi, man, suffering. 449309596 and 97 as we continue here in the morning. Someone is asking, Miss, where's Miss Blanchett? I've seen her in recent times, though. Is she still receiving a salary as she is?
Dominicans have been tightening the belts forever. Forever. You know, how much tighter can your belts go, guys? How much tighter can your belts go? You have a government for 20 something years and you have been tightening your belt. Do you have any more waste, Dominicans? You guys should be walking around looking like the number 8 because I don't think you have more ways to put more belt in. You know, you're talking about grow your own food. What have you done with the farmers in Dominica, Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt? You know, the people of Salisbury have been begging for years for their feeder roads. You know, no manufacturing, nothing is going on. Small businesses. What have you done about small businesses in Dominica, Roosevelt Skerritt, apart from just allowing people to have liquor bars in every little corner on the island? Because that's the state of mind you want the people in constantly. You know, what have you done? Roosevelt Skerritt, what have you done lately for the citizens of Dominica? You know, there's nothing in place for the Dominican people. So what are you warning people about tightening how much more can they tighten? You know, when you hear Americans talk about, oh, their gas prices has gone up for $4 because normally they buy their gas, what, 2 something, 3 something, 1 something, some places, $4, $5. How much is a gallon of gas in Dominica ordinarily without a war going on? I mean, it's just crazy. I can't listen to you speak all this nonsense when you are the prime minister. Dominica, the country Dominica is, people should be flocking, thinking of a place that, hey, we can be and survive, because this is what is going on there. It's not. Why do we have to import all our foods in Dominica? How many times you hear about different factories coming up in Dominica? How many times, Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt? It gets to me. I don't get it. You know, and when something is going on internationally, you want to come and talk to the Dominican people and tell them to tie their waist, like they haven't been tying their waist for so long. How long, my people, do you have to tie your waist? For how long do you need to breathe? Do you need to breathe? You need to breathe, my people, because some people put their knees on necks, but it looks like Skerritt has a belt around your waist and he's saying tie it tighter. I don't get it. You know, you are there to provide and to protect your people, and you're not doing that. Your entire mode, you're always in election mode, and it's just to stay in power. So these mansions you're building, I wonder how much electricity you're going to be using, sir. And all the luxurious vehicles you're getting as gifts. Are you going to be buying gas to put in there? Who's going to pay for it? But you tell the Dominican people to tie their waist. They've been tying their waist to afford you to live in the house that you say it's not yours, but they're still paying for you to live there. I mean, this is laughable. I don't get it.
gas gone up, gear gone up, rent gone up, water gone up, lighting gone up, gas gone up, gas gone up, it's there has got to be a solution to this pollution. Yeah, gotta find a solution.
Somebody says, man, I've passed the holes in my original belts, added 5 more holes into my belt, and it's now reaching the buckle of my belt. No more room, no more room. Boy, tighten it, huh? That's a nice way of putting it, huh?
Yeah.
Morning, my brother, listening to you. Tell that person price of living is high all over the world. So it can't be Dominica alone. When you get the messages that you're supposed to tell the people, things are all over, man. I'm telling you, right? I'm letting you know that. So that person that talking about Dominica, things getting hard. It's all over the world. It's a world crisis. The UWP does like to blame Skerrit for everything. But more they blame him is more we love him, more we vote him. So who job bless, no man curse. Skerrit is loved by his Labour family and by all of us. And even some of the UWP, they might say that in quiet ways, you know what I'm saying? So tell that person, Christ of living is high all over the world. It's not only Dominica. Have a blessed morning, my brother.
Find the solution to this pollution. Oh, 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 oh. Gotta find a solution to this pollution. Only the poor man. Yeah.
Good morning to you and all Dominicans. Matt, yesterday I listened to Roosevelt's Skerrit press conference, and it was most nauseating and embarrassing to listen to the ilk of a man who has stood on the neck of Dominica and Dominicans' prosperity and their ability to rise economically. Matt, the world has been plunged into an economic crisis because of the Trump and Netanyahu war. We cannot dispute that. But Matt, that is why I will say this morning, election matters. And that's also the reason I will say that waste not, want not. When Dominicans, or when Dominica rather, had plenty, some of the mama millions should have been saved to cushion some of the hardships that have become our own geopolitical realities. But instead, what did Skerrit do? What did the regime in Dominica do, Matt? Matt, you know what they have been doing? They sat there, they pilfered, they plundered the country, Matt. Matt Roosevelt's Skerrit is the same man, who takes a $64,000 a month from the taxpayers of Dominica to live in his own house, in his own mansion in Mont Daniel. This is the same man who has built several mansions for himself and could not answer when the young journalist asked him who the House of Dark Secret belongs to. That property adjacent to the Russo Credit Union. You saw how he became? He became very irate and nasty Just like he was nasty yesterday when the journalist impressed on him to answer the question relating to the Debwash issue. Matt, that man, Roosevelt's carrot, while Dominicans have been making sacrifices, that man recently bought a not a Range Rover, a Land Cruiser made by Toyota. Matt, that Land Cruiser is about $130,000 US. This man and his lavish appetite, he is never satisfied. But he wants Dominicans to make sacrifices, which they have been making all the time. Matt, that is the same man, where his income is about $79,000 a month, Matt.
79.
You add that $64,000 plus his prime minister's salary, I would say about $15,000. And that is not even taking into consideration the $300 US a day when he goes abroad to promenade and do nothing. He brings back nothing for the country. So, man, assuming Melissa's Scarrett, his wife, her salary is $6,000 a month. That is another $72,000 a year. And I'm bringing in those numbers, Matt, so that you can see clearly who is making sacrifices and who is not making sacrifices. So that takes their salary collectively to over $1 million a year, Matt. But this is the man who is asking Dominicans to make sacrifices. What I was expecting to hear yesterday is how much sacrifices and what type of sacrifices Roosevelt's carrot and his regime are going to make in Dominica to lead by example when he's asking Dominicans to make sacrifices. And they have been making for the past 2 decades just to survive. So he calling on Dominicans to tighten their belts. That is some Dominicans he's referring to. The poor people of the country he's referring to. But not himself, not Roosevelt's carrot, and not the useless 18-minister cabinet. He's calling on. He's not calling on them. And they're not going to make any kind of sacrifices to ease the financial burden that they have created for the country. So when he starts telling Dominicans to make sacrifices, he was the same man who told Dominicans that he was only going to live in that mansion in Mont Daniel for only 2 years. But he is still there like an economic parasite, sucking the platelets of the country dry. Matt, it is impossible for Dominica to move forward with that economic leech at its helm. And Scarrett is worse than what is to come because he has been on the backs of Dominicans for years, for over 2 decades. And he's not willing to make any sacrifices. He gave the young people 28 grams of cannabis to smoke. And then I'm hearing criticizing people he thinks are smoking. He thinks are smoking marijuana. But that is what you gave the young people. Man, this man is a disgusting human being, a senseless human being, and one with no love, no patriotism, and no soul for Dominica. Thank you.
This afternoon, they're on the Talk on the Block. We're talking the Debwash and the international airport. A government defenders will be on. Wait and find out who, huh? That's at 1 o'clock.
There has to be a solution to this pollution. Right now, the solution to the pollution. Proceed for help. You got to find a solution to the pollution.
Let's go final voice note for the morning and move on. This afternoon, don't forget. Yeah?
It's amazing that some labor rights will always be talking about when it is bad. is not only in Dominica, it's all around the world. But so many good things are happening around the world. Why can't Dominica adopt some of those good things that are going on around the world? Like they were talking yesterday about the solar and the wind generating electricity, etc. It's only when things are bad in Dominica that is when those liberals are shouting. It's not Dominica alone; it's all over the world. But we cannot look at the rest of the world and copy the good things that are happening and you don't even have to go far. Right in some of our Caribbean islands, sister islands, to copy those good things so that we can say, well, it's not in those islands alone, but Dominica.
I think I have one final voice note from Blue. Let's go.
Matt,
yes.
Your friend loves his prime minister so much. Things hard all over the world. What is he sitting down doing what is he doing driving his taxi in St. Thomas or St. Croix, wherever he is? Come down, Dominica. Scarrett will buy another bus for him and he will do good in Dominica. He'll paint his bus red and everybody will see him. Come down, Dominica, to live. Because he's had all about why stay in America and in St. Croix and St. Thomas and enjoy the benefits he getting from the American government. And he saying things hard all over. It's not making any sense. It's hard to come down in your country and live there.
When you look for your trouble, boy. We'll be back at 1 o'clock. As I said, one government defender will be talking about the international airport. And Dave Wash, I've got to go now. It's 11 o'clock. Let's take it from the top. And of course, continue to enjoy Q95. I'm Matt. I'm gone for the morning. Got to find a solution to this evolution. Yeah.